Unsolved. His name was Chaim Weiss. He was just 16 years old. November 1st, 1986. A 16-year-old boy went to sleep inside one of New York's most respected Orthodox Jewish boarding schools. By sunrise, he had been brutally murdered. His room showed no signs of forced entry, and the murder weapon vanished. Nearly 40 years later, no one has ever been charged. But investigators soon discovered something inside that room that made the case even more disturbing. Chaim Weiss was a student at Torah High School, a yeshiva on East Beach Street in Long Beach. His parents, Anton and Pessi Weiss, lived across the city in Staten Island. They believed their son was safe, studying, sleeping, preparing for another ordinary Shabbat. Chaim boarded at the school full-time. Unlike most students, he had his own dormitory room, one of only 2 boys in the building granted that privacy. That Friday night, he studied with a classmate. His study partner last saw him alive at 12:45 a.m. Hours later, he would never wake up again. The next morning, students made a horrifying discovery. Sometime between 1:20 and 6 a.m., someone entered Chaim's room. He was attacked while sleeping, alone, on the 3rd floor. There was no back entrance and no other way in. Investigators found his body on the floor, not in his bed. Cold November air drifted through the open window above him. The weapon used in the attack was never recovered. There were no signs of forced entry, and no one in the building reported hearing a struggle. Then, investigators noticed details that made no sense. The open window bothered detectives immediately. Outside, it was 40 degrees, and Chaim was sick, taking antibiotics for a sore throat. He wouldn't have opened it himself. Police floated a theory. In Jewish tradition, some believe an open window allows a soul to leave a room after death. If true, the killer understood Jewish burial customs. Investigators also learned something unusual from months earlier. That summer, while Chaim was home, the school's principal called twice, asking for a private meeting. Chaim met with him alone, and he came home quiet. He never told his parents what was said. Years later, the mystery only became stranger. Nassau County Police assigned 25 detectives to the case, full-time, for months. A mobile command post sat outside the yeshiva for a week, open to anyone willing to talk. At the scene, investigators recovered a single strand of hair that didn't belong to Chaim. They made a deliberate choice not to test it yet. They were waiting for a suspect, afraid the sample would be destroyed before it could ever be used. An FBI profile added a chilling detail. The killer likely knew Chaim personally and was close to his age. A janitor came under suspicion, and so did a mentally ill man in the area. Both were eventually ruled out. Detectives also considered a darker coincidence. The murder happened just one day after Halloween, leading to a thrill-seeker theory. That, too, was ruled out. School administrators told the media there had been no history of anti-Semitism at Torah High School. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into years. The trail went cold. Then, years after the murder, someone sent a disturbing message. In 1994, a letter arrived at the Weiss family home in Staten Island, addressed to Chaim, who had been dead for 8 years. Inside was an Easter card with a cruel joke about chickens. Around that same time, someone vandalized his gravestone. They carved 3 Hebrew letters into the stone, appearing to spell a word close to murder, misspelled. Later, a former student came forward, alleging physical abuse at the school years before the killing. And journalists uncovered something else. A suicide inside the dormitory shower, sometime before Chaim's murder. Only facts, no explanations. Despite everything, the killer was never identified. In May 2013, Nassau County Police reopened the case. The reward for information grew to $25,000. Chaim Weiss stood beside detectives at the press conference, still asking, still waiting. He urged former students, now grown men, to come forward with anything they remembered. But investigators still believe someone knows the truth. Police believe the killer was someone Chaim knew, a student, or possibly a faculty member, someone familiar with Jewish customs, someone inside those walls. No arrest has ever been made, no confession, no trial. Somewhere, someone still knows exactly what happened inside that room. Someone has lived with that secret for nearly 40 years. Until that person speaks, Chaim Weiss's murder will remain one of New York's darkest unsolved mysteries. What do you think happened to Chaim Weiss? Let me know in the comments. Do you know another unsolved case with overwhelming evidence, but no justice? Tell me in the comments. Your suggestion could be featured in a future documentary.